Okay, I am so excited about tonight's team training about starting strong. And I feel like a proud mama, proud big sister, proud friend tonight as all the ladies sharing tonight are my level one ambassadors. They are all moms. They all have other jobs in some form or capacity that they do that they were doing before Plexus. So they are all busy ladies, but I believe all of them represent what it looks like to work Plexus faithfully and consistently. And they all have different stories, different backgrounds, which is what I love, different ways that they finally said yes to me with Plexus. But I'm just excited about them sharing, and hopefully we will have time at the end for some questions. So up first is Ashley Pache. Ashley, I'm going to unmute you, and you are good to go.
Hey guys, like Amanda said, I am Ashley. I am a mother of 4. My youngest is 6 months old, and she kept me up all night last night. So if I yawn, I apologize. It's past my bedtime. Amanda gave us a couple questions just to kind of help to guide our sharing tonight. So I'm just going to kind of work through those. I've got some notes I'm going to share with y'all. And the first thing she asked us to share is why Plexus, why the products, and then also why the business. I was watching Amanda from day one. I saw her posting, I saw her starting this brand new journey, and I looked at it, and actually I was probably one of the first people she contacted, which is because I started liking her stuff right away, and she's like, hey, are you interested? And I'm like, no, not interested, not going to touch that. I'm going the natural route. I was on the same journey, but not using supplements. I was trying to get my gut healthy through food and exercise. And then I got pregnant. And so I stopped all of that. And looking back, I should have just done Plexus before I got pregnant. But when we finally got around to almost a year later of deciding that yes, Plexus was for us, my husband and I both started at the same time because he actually was the one. He was friends with Amanda and Chris from Bible school. And so we were both friends with them on Facebook, and he's seeing everything that Amanda's posting. He's like, what she's posting, we need this. And I'm like, yeah, I've kind of been talking to her. And I hadn't told him I was talking to her at all. So the fact that he told me we need this, we both struggle with exhaustion, keeping our blood sugars balanced, and depression from not having a healthy gut, not eating right all the time, and then just, everything else. So our why with the products was we wanted freedom from being like we were in a funk all the time. I just felt like I was in a funk. I was in a daze. I was living off caffeine. I wanted away from that. So that was why. The business, to be honest, I didn't want to do the business. And Amanda can tell you, I didn't want to do the business. I was like, I'm not touching that. No, I just want, but we are a low income family. We just do not have the funds to be able to be putting out every month. A couple $100 for 2 of us to be on the triplex. Plus we got our kids on the, some of the products, the multivitamin and the probiotic. So I need this to pay for itself, I guess, almost to a degree. And I'm one of those people that if I'm going to be in, I'm going to be all in. So I'm not going to just kind of piddle with it. So also I am a professional blogger. Amanda said, I have another job. I am a professional blogger, so I have a platform on social media, Facebook, Instagram, people who are following me, connecting with me relationally. So I have that ability to have a larger following than some people do. Just, a lot of the people in Amanda's team work it strictly through their Facebook, through their friends and family. And I did not want to do that. I did not want to reach out to my friends and family. I have since changed my perspective on that. But I had the platform to be able to go a little bit wider and broader with that. So, and really my biggest why, and the thing that I keep coming back to, and the reason that I decided that I'm sticking with Plexus is because I want to see people get healthy. I want to see moms, especially, but moms and dads and kids, be able to live life, to have, for us, it's freedom from ministry. We want to be in full-time ministry eventually. So if Plexus would allow us, the business side of it, to have that flexibility to not be tied down to a 9 to 5, to be able to pick up our family and move wherever. That's kind of our end game with Plexus. That's where we want Plexus to take us. I talked a little bit about
Ashley, are you still there? You're kind of breaking up. Is it just me or is she breaking up? Okay, she's breaking up. She was doing so good. Let's see if she hops off and back on again. I might shoot her a message. Oh, she hopped off. Let's see if she hops back on. You never know. Sometimes someone's phone dies and they have to go running. Oh, she said trying to get back in. Sometimes their phone dies and they have to go run and get their charger or something. So she says she's on her way. Alrighty. Well, someone new is on. Alrighty, we'll give her one more minute. We can always have her go again later. Okay. She said she's probably going to have to switch computers. So we will come back to her. Oh, there she is. Hey, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, cool.
my internet went freaky, so I switched over to cellular. Hopefully that works.
Okay. Just
Yay,
pick right back up where you left off. No worries.
All right. So I think I was talking about mindset, maybe. Okay. So my mindset at this point is all in. When I first started, it was more apprehensive, but I am one of those people. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all the way, and I'm going to do it right. I committed to doing this for 1 year. I'm going to work it hard for 1 year. When I first committed to doing it, I dove in head first. Just dove in. Got a little overwhelmed, but I got informed. That was big for me. I needed to know the details. I needed to understand the compensation plan, and I needed to know the products. And that actually has worked out in my benefits as I'm growing my team. People are coming to me who want to know those details, which is good. But I did burn out like for a little while there. I kind of like got so overwhelmed by all of that I was like, whoa, back up. So what I'm learning is that slow and steady wins the race. I have to keep my journey. I have to keep my blinders on. No, don't compare myself to people on my right, to my left, upline, downline, whatever. I just need to make sure that I'm running my journey. I'm doing my thing. And I think Amanda was actually the one who said this in a recent training, that it's not about the journey, it's about the destination. And for me, or it's about the journey, not about the destination. Sorry. So for me, it's not about the end, but it's about every day? Am I doing the consistent work? Am I keeping myself just on the edge of my comfort zone? Being consistent in what I'm doing and working hard along the way. Amanda asked us about our belief about our products and about the business. Really, my belief mostly right now is in the products. I have not personally gotten the business to the point where, I mean, not that I don't believe in the business. I think it's great. I mean, I just look at my paychecks and for the last, several months, and they're there. Like the paycheck, it's not huge, but it's there every month and it's growing every month. And so for me, that's building my belief. It's just seeing that consistent growth. Even if I don't feel like I'm necessarily growing every month, just that consistency. But for me, the products, I believe in these products wholeheartedly. My own life, I'm a living walking testimony. My husband, he's a living walking testimony. My friend Christy, who is one of my ambassadors on my team, she posted in Amanda's group the other day. She went to the doctor for the first time after being on these products for about 6 weeks. She went to her rheumatologist, and he looked at her and just looked at where she was a month ago and where she is today and said, "What have you been doing differently? What is going on?" Like, this is huge. He's looking into it for himself now. So just even that, like seeing the products work for people, that's building my belief. My IPA is another thing that Amanda asked me to share, and that is my income producing activity. What am I doing on a daily or weekly basis that is producing income for me? For me, I'm on 2 different platforms. I use Facebook and I use Instagram. Those are both platforms that I'm very active on, so I'm using both of those. On Facebook, I am posting my real life with Plexus. I am not out there making commercial posts. I'm not salesy, anything like that. If there's a sale going on, I might mention it, but those don't do well for me most of the time. The posts that people are engaging people are when I'm saying, "Dude, I'm using my Plexus to survive today," or like, I can see that this I'm sleeping better because and this is why I'm sleeping better. So for me, it's real life with Plexus. How is it affecting my everyday life? And I'm trying to do that twice a day, every day. And then also 2 to 3 times a week, I want to share some kind of a health education or encouragement post. Something that's going to either one of the ingredients in our products and talk about why it's important, or just encouraging people to eat healthier or to live a more active lifestyle, because Plexus is not an end all. It is part of that bigger picture for us. And so I want to make sure that it's not all about supplement without the bigger picture of why do we need supplements? So we can live healthy, so we can be fit, so we can exercise. So that's Facebook. And then on Instagram, that's another one of my platforms that I have a lot of traffic and a lot of engagement with people on. And those are not my everyday. Those are people I don't know personally in real life for the most part. Those are people that I've just met through Instagram, a lot of them. And so what I'm doing is, as people follow me, I'm just sending out a personal a message to them saying, "Hey, thank you so much," using their name, "for following me. As you can see from my bio, I am a busy mom of 4 who loves to help people get healthy. One of the ways I do that is through sharing Plexus. Are you familiar with Plexus?" So everybody who follows me who I think lives in one of the countries that we are in right now, because I sent it out to a couple of people and they're like, "Oh, I'm in the UK." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, we're not there yet," but they're on my list so that when we get to the UK, we'll follow up with them. But I'm sending that out to everybody. I've got some good conversations started that way. I'm also posting the same kind of stuff I'm posting on Facebook, the Plexus in real life post. And I try to do about a 1-to-4 to a 1-to-6 ratio of Plexus in there. I'm not doing salesy Plexus posts. Every post that I do is a picture of a product that I took using it in my own home. So that's my IPA that I'm doing on a regular basis. I'm also reaching out to cold contacts, however you want to say that, 10 to 20 people a week. Whether that's people that I'm friends with already, or people through Instagram who have liked my post, or that I just come across me saying, "Hey, this person might be a good fit as somebody on my team." I'm just sending them a message saying, "Hey, this is why I think you might be a good fit," or "Hey, here's why I think the products might be good for you." Doing something that's going to engage them. It's not about me, it's about them and how the products or the business could help them. And last but not least, Amanda asked us to share a little bit of advice for anybody who's just getting started with Plexus or who's kind of wanting to see their business grow. And I wrote, this is not a sprint. Don't put pressure on yourself to do every challenge or earn every incentive. That's going to burn you out very quickly if you're trying to do everything. You need to find your journey, find your pace, and then run it. Don't run your upline or your downline's pace. Figure out what your pace is going to be, what you can consistently do on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis, and do it. Just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And you know, there are going to be months where your numbers are going to go down, and there's going to be months when your numbers are going to go up. Don't let the numbers dictate your emotions. Keep your emotions out of it and just keep working hard and being consistent, and it will pay off. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. Okay, after each person talks, I'm going to share what I love about them. So what I love about Ashley is, it's obvious, right? She is organized. She is very intentional with her time. She has a plan, and she just takes her business very seriously. The words that I like to use for that is she just respects her business. It's not a hobby. She's very thoughtful behind it, and it's that like she's saying, like, even if she's starting out slow, or even if her paychecks are just growing a little bit every month, in the long run, she is setting herself up for success. She has laid like a good foundation for her business with her IPA and her mindset, and she has a plan and she's sticking to it. And so that's what I love about Ashley. Okay. Miss Lee Samp. Okay. Lee Samp, y'all, was my brother's high school girlfriend. And I hear people say things like, oh, I couldn't contact them. I haven't talked to them in like 5 years. Lee and I have not seen each other in over 20 years, y'all. And yes, so you can contact anyone. And so Lee, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I unmuted you, so you should be good to go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually, that was a very tough act to follow. So I would like to start by saying I'm not nearly as organized as you, but I would like to follow whatever you're doing because it's working. So Amanda and I reconnected on Facebook probably 5 years ago when she was adopting, because I was adopting as well. And so, kind of watched mostly her adoption journey, and then this Plexus stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's something she's doing or whatever. And she would message me from time to time, and I'm like, yeah, MLM, not interested at all. Thanks. I've heard the stories and known the people that have been in it and all this. And so she didn't give up. She was persistent, and she messaged me a couple more times. I probably, put her off and didn't reply a couple times. I'm sorry. And eventually I kind of looked into it more, and I was like, man, this stuff really seems cool, but it's just not in the budget, and it's not something I could do. I thought it was great for her, and she was, replacing her husband's income. I'm working towards that, and her family was getting healthy, and she was losing weight and doing all these great things. And I was like, boy, I'm kind of living vicariously through her on Facebook. So anyway, this summer I kind of had a breaking point. I went to Chicago for a work trip, and, ate deep dish pizza for a week and gained 10 pounds and was just miserable. Despite working out 3 days a week and eating, 75% of the time eating healthily, I just didn't feel right. I was just blah, and my pants didn't fit, and I just was feeling like there was something that I wasn't able to do for my own self. So I kind of looked into Plexus a little bit more and kind of research it. And then I got a little bit scared because I, saw these scary things on the internet, not on the Plexus site, about the ingredients and that kind of thing. And, kind of connected back and forth with her a little bit. And on July 20th, 5 months before I turned the big 4-0, I joined. I didn't even try the products. I had read enough about it. I had my belief already. I didn't even really know how great the business side could be, but I was just ready to start the products and just get going. And I figured I had to join as an ambassador because I couldn't afford it otherwise. And so I had to at least make enough money to cover my products. That was my goal from day one. Okay, so that was my why. check. Okay, so what's my next why? Well, okay, my husband quit his job a year and a half ago to stay home with our son. So we're a one-income family, and I work as a PA, so we're not like struggling financially, but it definitely hurts to go from 2 incomes to 1. So we kind of got rid of all the extra things like, cable and the lawnmower people and the maids and all that stuff that we had extra money for before. And I was like, well, it would sure be nice to be able to have a couple of those things back, just as, to help my husband out, so he's not having to do all that stuff all the time while I'm at work. But so my why is continually evolving. At this point, I couldn't even really today tell you what it is because it changes all the time. So I need to sit down and put pen to paper and figure it out again, because it's very important. Otherwise, you kind of lose track of where you're going and why you're doing this. I think the products are fantastic. They've definitely changed my energy level, my weight, my husband's weight. He looked in the mirror probably after 6 weeks of taking the Slim, and he was like, Plexus really changes your body shape, doesn't it? And I was like, yes, it does. And our pants are fitting, and we're just feeling really good for the first time. I'm like not scared to be 40 anymore. I'm like, bring it on, 40. So let's see, I'm looking at my notes here too. Okay, so I chose the business opportunity. We talked about that a little bit. My belief in the products was really, it stemmed from watching Amanda on Facebook. I think people really pay attention to what you're saying, even if they don't like your products, like your posts or ever message you about anything. The very first customer I had never messaged me, never liked anything I posted. She ran into me in the hallway at work and said, hey, we need to talk. You look great. I want to talk to you about these products that you're talking about on Facebook. To this day, she's never liked any of my posts. So don't feel like people have to like all your stuff for your message to be getting out there, because people are definitely watching, and they will contact you eventually when they're ready. Just like I did with Amanda. I waited for like 9 months after she kept posting and harassing me, but I'm glad she did. Let's see. My IPA currently, I'm actually doing what Ashley said, too many things at the moment. I signed up for a lot of extra stuff to take on that I kind of wish that I hadn't, but I think I needed a little bit of a push to get me going. I'm doing the October IPA challenge, where we're contacting 2 new people a day and posting on Facebook, and that's kind of kept me a little bit more consistent than if I was just willy-nilly trying to figure it out on my own. So I think being in groups with other people that are encouraging you and saying, hey, I did this today and I got an ambassador, or I got a new customer, or 17 people liked my post on XYZ is really, it's nice to have that kind of camaraderie and people cheering you on. So I think that's pretty helpful. I'm in the book club, which I'm not doing a very good job of doing right now, but I need to get back on that. But mostly posting to Facebook. And I really also like using Facebook Messenger to contact people, because you know when they looked at your message, but you don't have to bug them about, hey, did you get my message? Did you know that they saw it, because a little dot comes on the bottom of the screen. And then a week later you can say, hey, we have the special going on, or I wanted to tell you about this product, or just how are you doing, and talk about life. And it doesn't have to be a Plexus related thing. So what are my long-term goals? I would love to, Hawaii is on my bucket list. So I would love to be Emerald at some point. Next year would be awesome, and I'm going to shoot for the moon. And I think watching Amanda, she's a great leader. She really has her stuff together. I could probably use a professional organizer in my life a little bit, but maybe I'll be able to afford that at some point, with my Plexus income. A personal goal, randomly, I don't know why I decided to do this, but I would like for my PV every month to exceed the prior month. I don't know why I chose that, but that's just kind of a little goal that I have for myself. I'd love to get 2-3 new ambassadors every month, kind of go silver every month. That would be a great consistent thing for me. And that's about it. So that's me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. What would you say, since you've started your mindset, like where would you say, you came in, in terms of your even just belief about yourself or belief about this opportunity? And has that over the past couple months morphed or stayed the same? Or
Well, I'll tell you what, this platform is very scary for me because I don't like seeing my face and hearing my voice, but I think my self-confidence has actually been boosted just becoming like I'm more willing to engage random people and talk to them instead of just standing there in the elevator. You know, I'll talk to people now, which was totally not me. My belief in myself is definitely grown. I think when you're first starting out, you're pumped up, you're excited, and you're posting, and people are getting interested in what you're talking about, and then you hit a wall of like crickets for a week, and you're like, what did I do? What am I doing wrong? You know, and you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that there's periods of highs and lows and dry spells and you know, flowing rivers. So you have to just kind of go with the flow and realize that just because today was a bad day doesn't mean that tomorrow will automatically be. And 14 people might contact you next week and nobody contacted you this week, you know, just out of the blue. And that's okay. And you don't have to, like Ashley said, you don't have to compare yourself to everyone because that's a killer. You know, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, the fortune is definitely in the follow-up. I have made so many just contacts with people that said, oh, I'm so glad you messaged me again. I meant to get back with you last week about, you know, whatever it was we were talking about. My mother-in-law or my husband or whoever is interested in let's do this, you know, let's do it. So, I mean, definitely it's all about the follow-up, I think.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And I get to see Lee tomorrow. First time in 20 years, y'all. It's going to be so fun. Okay, so in high school, Lee and I went. So I was a freshman when she was a senior, y'all. So big deal, right? And we went to choir camp together, and I just thought I was awesome because I was hanging out with a senior.
You were awesome. You are awesome. What are you talking about?
You're awesome too. Okay, so what I love about Lee is, yes, I followed up with her for a year, and she probably thought I was casually messaging her, and yet I was like, no, really, I want you on my team. And so I knew she would be amazing at this business because she loves people. She loves people. She loves caring for people. She's a physician's assistant. Of course, she loves caring for people. And she has her own like adoption group on Facebook that she uses to encourage women that are fostering and adopting and everything. So, you know, that speaks to my heart. And she is just easygoing, and she's willing to talk to people about Plexus. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, if you're willing to talk to people about Plexus, you can do this. Like, if you're willing to strike up a conversation with a coworker, perfect. That, you know, and so that is what I love about Lee, and she's an amazing piano player. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so last but certainly not least is Alyssa Falls, and I'm so excited for y'all to hear about her journey. So Alyssa Falls, take it away, girl.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I am not a brand new ambassador. I've actually been with Plexus since a year ago. I started at the beginning of October last year. I had been watching Amanda post for, 3 or 4 months and very intrigued by the business and the products and hearing her health story and what it was doing for her. And she was posting, Plexus posts about the compensation plan and all these amazing things that people up ahead of her were doing and getting from Plexus. And I thought, I can totally do this. So I started going back and forth with her after looking into everything for myself. I researched Plexus and just decided I'm going to do this. And I wanted to do it as an ambassador because A, I wanted to get my products at the cheapest price possible. And B, I wanted to try and get my products covered and maybe make a little bit of extra money on top of that. And I thought it was totally doable. At the time, I was 7 months pregnant when I started. So I didn't get to see necessarily the Plexus baby journey in that baby compared to my other two. I only had it for a couple months before I had my daughter. But I can say that instantly within a week after starting Plexus, my energy levels for being in my third trimester were amazing. I definitely did not have that with my other two. So that was something that I was like, whoa, this is great. I have energy and I am in my third trimester of being pregnant. So I definitely loved that right away. And I started sharing the business and I had a couple people interested. I had a couple people join as ambassadors just for the prices, but then didn't keep going with it. One of my ambassadors joined, she got the products and then said, Christmas is coming, I can't do this. And I was like, okay. And I had a couple customers and then I had my baby around Thanksgiving and everything just kind of got busier because then I had 3 kids and I kind of started to put Plexus on the back shelf a little bit. And still posting, still reaching people, but I was treating Plexus like a machine, I would say. I would spit out the same message to everybody. There was no personal, not no personal, but very little personal contact that I was giving when I was cold messaging people. It was the same thing about, how about you try Plexus? And of course, I didn't get very far with that. And I just wasn't putting in the time that I could have or should have. So around, I don't know, February or March of this year, we had a couple family things happen that were just hard. And I had gone back to work and things were tight and couldn't really afford the products. And so I just kind of let Plexus fall to the side. Still watching, still listening, still looking into things as far as Plexus was concerned, because I wanted to pick it back up again. It just took a little while for me to get to that point. So then I don't exactly remember, but I think August of this year, I finally was like, you know what? I really, really need this. I really need this. And it was that turnaround at that time that I can totally see a difference in my business and how I've worked it for the months of September and October, because my mindset completely changed. It was like a total 180. In the beginning, I was timid. I was worried about what other people were thinking about me. My own aunt even Facebooked me and said, "Are you hacked?" And I was like, no, I wasn't hacked. And I was trying to be real with people about Plexus. And I guess I wasn't, because she thought I was hacked. But yeah, in the beginning, I was just a completely different person sharing the products. And it was that mindset that I said, you know what, I really need to make this work. And my why is because I would love to be home with my kids. I work full time. I work 45 hours outside of the home at a law office. And I also play the piano for my church as another small side job. And so I'm really busy. And I would love to be home with my kids. So I finally said, okay, you got to make this work. You got to do this. So I messaged Amanda and I said, I'm going to make this work. And I just started pouring my all into it in the nooks and crannies of my day, in whatever way I could figure that out to be. So there's times where I'm sitting on my lunch break and I message people. There's times I'm at work and I get on my phone and I message people, or I ask questions, or whatever that looks like. But I basically took my list that I started with a year ago, and I had made 100 people, because that's what Melissa Eichenhorst told us to do. Create your list of 100 people to reach out to. And now it's grown to up over 250. And I take that list and I just work through it. I try and reach out to between 5 and 10 people a day. Sometimes it's a little less, but I really try and shoot for that, so that I'm not just reaching out to 1 or 2, I'm reaching out to multiple people. And that way my follow-ups are, again, with multiple people. And I follow up usually once a week with people, especially those that are interested, try and stay on top of them. Hey, do you think you might want to try it this month? I would love to get you started on the products. I try and let my passion come through in my messages. I discovered that you can use a voice recording through private messaging, and that was huge for me as well, because I wasn't just typing these cold messages to people. I was able to let them hear in my voice my passion for the products and my passion for the business. And I started to very strategically choose who I'm reaching out to. There's people that I know that need the product for their health, and there's people that I know that need it for the business. So I very strategically started messaging people where they're at in life, what they've got going on, and asking them, hey, I think Plexus could work for you for this reason, for their health, or this reason for the business, for your finances. And I've had way more feedback because of that in changing how I have related to people. So that was huge for me. So again, I take that list and I just work through it. Every day I sit down and I work Plexus in whatever way I'm able to. Some days they're busier. I usually try and take one day off through the weekend, because otherwise, like Lee said, you'll just, or maybe it was Ashley, you'll just get burnt out if you do too much. And so I've decided that slow and steady is definitely the way to go. It's not a race. It's not a sprint. Amanda's always posting on Facebook that comparison is the thief of joy, and that is so true. I stopped comparing myself to what other people have accomplished through Plexus and just focused on me, my goals, and my why, and what I want out of this business. And it's been huge. If I had to give a piece of advice to those of you who are brand new, there's a couple of things that have been huge for me. One is that I became organized with my Plexus business. And for me, I'm old school and I do everything with paper and pen. So I write everything out. When I listen to training videos, I write it down. I keep all my lists in my binder and I go through them. I keep my pricing list and all those charts that we get with Plexus and the stuff that Melissa sends us in the files tab, and Amanda and everybody. All that stuff I have is in my binder. So I try and stay organized with that. Secondly is those videos that are all over YouTube. They're amazing. I didn't do that in the beginning. I didn't take advantage of the fact that there's training videos and there's encouragement videos, inspirational videos. So now I am definitely using those at least twice a week. I try and sit down and I listen to the Diamond documentaries. Sonia Dudley and Melissa Eichenhorst are my favorites to listen to, but there's others as well. There's some funny ones, funny stories, and then there's heart-wrenching stories about what Plexus has done for people with their health. So listen to those videos, take advantage of the training that's out there in that aspect. And then lastly would be to make that power hour. A couple months ago, Amanda had put a training video out there that talked about that. And that was so key to me because I was like making time here, and then a couple days later it would be there. And now it's like every day I sit down, usually between the hours of 9 and 10 at night after my kids are in bed and my house is kind of put back together after the day. And I work my Plexus business and I reach out to people and I watch those videos. And that's my hour that I carve out for myself, that I try and make my business work. And I've definitely seen it grow in the months of September and October. I'm still working for that rank of silver by the end of October, still reaching out to people, hoping that will happen. I'm one ambassador away, but I will still continue to work for it into November if it doesn't happen. And like I said, it's slow and steady, and that whole attitude and mindset is so key. Positivity, it's crucial for this business. You can't go into it thinking, what are people going to think about me? What are they thinking about my posts? It doesn't matter. I have something that everybody needs, and that's what has totally changed how I've approached my business. And I can see that it's worked so much better for me this time around than it did in the beginning. So.
Yay! Okay, who doesn't love a comeback story? I love it. Totally. Y'all, she is not kidding. She is a different person this time around. Like, I can see it in her posts, like even her Facebook posts, and just like even just when she's messaging me with questions, I'm like, she's just different. And it's her mindset. She just has that determination now, and that passion, and that like grit. Sometimes you'll hear in Plexus people talk about you need grit to do this business. It's like that part of you that's like, you know, not that we don't care what people think of us, but it's that determination of knowing I have something that can help you, and I'm gonna share it with you. Like, so yes, I just love it. I love her mindset, and that she's organized and she's coming back into it determined. So, oh my word. Okay, so before I open it up for questions, I just want to say, for those of you that have been in the business a while and have teams, maybe you're already silver, maybe you're not silver yet. These are the type of people you want on your team. You want Ashley's and Lee's and Alyssa's, because you can see they are rock stars. They are in their own way. They're independent. They're not super, like they've got their why, they've got their focus, they've got their reason why they're doing this, and they don't need a lot. And they probably wouldn't even say that, because I think all of them have probably apologized to me at some point saying, sorry, I'm asking so many questions. And I'm like, you're awesome. Like, what are you even saying? So these are the type of people that when you're thinking about reaching out to your dream team, this is it. And so, and Lee was one of those people for me where I think one of the last follow-ups I did with her before she signed on was I voice messaged her, and I said, Lee, I think you'd be surprised at how much I pray that you would join my Plexus team. And she was like, what? I was like, I'm not kidding. Because I would see her post, and she was active on social media like before Plexus. And so I was like, oh my word, she would be so good at this. So, yes, these are the type of people that you want to be reaching out to with the business in mind. And all three of these ladies were not even thinking about the business before I reached out to them necessarily, but I shared it with them. And I, in different ways with each of them, said, you need this, you'd be amazing at this, I think you should give it a shot. And you have to share the business. Otherwise, you know, I've said before, if you just share the products with people, you get customers. But if you share the business with people, you get business builders, you get runners with you, you get people that say, okay, I want to do this too. So I am going to open it up for any questions. Just unmute yourself, give a holler. Or you can always use the chat on Zoom. You can type out your questions.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I don't know.
Yes.
It's not even a question, but Ashley, I would love it if you, at some point when you're not super busy, could do a training on Instagram, because I am Instagram naive. I mean, I basically just use it to edit photos. So I would love to be able to make it more, you know, user friendly and make it work for the business, because I cannot. Jenna agrees. I just can't. I don't know. It's totally opposite of Facebook to me. It seems like nobody's looking at anything because people rarely ever comment. So that would just be awesome if you would put that together for us.
I would love to do that. I love Instagram. So
Awesome.
Anyone else? Any questions?
Hey ladies, this is Grace.
Hey, Grace.
I don't have my video up right now. I'm in bed next to my hubby.
That's fine.
Thank you ladies for sharing. I've loved everything you guys have said. My biggest struggle right now is reaching out. It's the reaching out part, especially to people that I don't or haven't talked to in a long time. So I just would like some of your ideas of what do you say? How do you start it with it not coming across where, well, they're going to be offended. Oh, she hasn't talked to me in years and now she's just trying to sell me something, which I know is not my mindset. My mindset is, hey, I want to help you. But I don't, I guess I'm still at that point where I'm worried about what people are going to think. So do you guys have any idea? I mean, what's the way that you start out these conversations with some of these people you haven't talked to in a long time?
I would just say, for example, I have another lady that I went to high school with, hadn't talked to in 20 years, and I randomly found out that she lives like a few miles up the road from me, and she restores furniture and wood, doors and that kind of thing. And I had seen some of her work and just messaged her and said, hey, you do really beautiful stuff. My front door looks terrible. It's been weather beaten from the sun, et cetera, et cetera. Could you give me a quote to how much it would be to fix? And so we got into a conversation about what she did for a living. And then she said, hey, by the way, I've seen your Plexus post. I'd really like to learn more about it. And I'm like, whoa, I kind of, didn't really know it was going to go there, but just being interested. And it's not, it's not like you're getting on saying the first message is, hey, person I haven't talked to in 20 years, let me tell you more about Plexus. You just have to engage them and find some common ground. I guess that would be my advice.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree. The people that I am messaging that I haven't talked to in forever, I started talking about them, seeing where they're at in life. Maybe I've seen something on their Facebook feed about what what they have going on with their kids or their job or, whatever they have. And I start making the post, the message about them, asking about what's going on in their life, and then working Plexus into it later. Plexus doesn't start the conversation. They start the conversation because I'm asking about them.
Okay, great. That definitely helps me. That I guess in my mind, I was thinking I just would go straight into Plexus, but that's definitely helpful that it's a process. It's not, I don't have to contact them and tell them about Plexus in the same day necessarily.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Plexus is that they say it's about the relationship. It's not about the sale. It's really truly about building the relationships with people. One of the ways I do it is I will message somebody and say, hey, you know what? You're on my mind. What can I be praying specifically for you about today? And that has opened a lot of doors because if you ask people, especially in a private message, hey, just let them know I'm thinking about you and I want to know what's going on in your life. Like the other lady said, that'll open up the doors. You can start conversations. And then as the relationship grows, you have the opportunity to share. Or even if Plexus never comes up in your private message, they're watching what you're doing because you've recreated or you've reopened that relationship and reestablished that relationship. So that's big.
I'd say for me, I'm someone that I set a fast pace for myself going into Plexus, and you guys know that. You guys know my journey. And so now it's funny, like now I'm at a slow and steady pace, but starting out I was like, let's do this. So when I would message people, I would say to them, and I would say it sincerely, this would not be a lie, but I would say to people, hey, you've come to my mind as someone who might be interested in hearing more about Plexus. I know in the past you really struggled with allergies, or I remember that, you and your family, your budget was really tight a couple years ago, or, like referring to the past and saying like, here's what I remember from a few years ago. And I know we haven't talked in a while, but you came to my mind as someone who might like to hear more. And just going from there. So sometimes I do bring Plexus up in the first post if if I have a reason to, you know what I mean? It's rarely do I just message someone and say, hey, do you want more information about Plexus? Like, that's not going to get you anywhere. But if you have a reason to reach out to them and like a reason to say, like, this is why you came to my mind as to why, you know, why you might want to look into Plexus a bit more. I've done that quite a bit. So. All right, Jenna is saying, same theme of being about them. What do you ladies do to keep follow-up from stringing along too long? Okay, so what do you do to keep like just that follow-up, like endless follow-up? How do you kind of close, right? How do you move the conversation from sharing Plexus with them to closing a customer or an ambassador?
I have a lot of times when I sense that they're sort of on the fence, like, but they're leaning towards either becoming a customer or an ambassador, I'll say, hey, I'm offering, you know, $15 back this month to new ambassadors who sign up. And they're like, okay, let's do it, you know. And it doesn't work for everyone. That's not a motivation. But if that's going to help someone say, hey, I can get my part of my membership paid for, that I can get going on these products and, you know, that kind of thing. I think incentives help some people sometimes.
I'm really bad with follow-up, which is probably why I'm where I'm at in my business. But like Lee was saying, I will at the end of the month, especially if I know I've got a couple people who are on the fence leaning that way, I'll offer, you know, X% off of their order, or, you know, like she said, you know, a certain dollar amount refunded back to them for their welcome kits. And that really has actually been where I've gotten most of my customers, is when I've given them some kind of financial discount, because a lot of people, they're really interested in the products, but it's that, oh my gosh, this is going to cost me $100 a month or $120 a month. I just don't know that I can fit it in my budget. But once they're hooked on the products, once they see that the products work, they'll find a way to make that part of their budget. And a lot of times, you know, that might even be signing out as an ambassador, if they were just, you know, starting out as a customer. But sometimes, yeah, for me, the money is a big deal. Like, the money I'm putting out every month into it is a big deal. So I want to make it as easy as possible, because my goal is to see people get healthy. And so if I can help them get healthy by giving them part of my commission back, I'm going to do that.
And for me, I would say, just since I've come back just for the months of September and October, obviously that's not super long to be able to, you know, have that extended kind of follow-up. But the couple people that I was able to sign up even just this month in October, the one question that I asked two of them that made them jump into Plexus was, what is holding you back? I was very like blunt with that question and asking them, what is holding you back? And the one customer that I got said, you know what? I don't really know. I need this. And she like bought that day, and she bought as an ambassador. And I was like, whoa, okay. So yeah, just asking that question, what's holding you back? It has been a good effective tool for me in closing the deal for them.
Yeah, Alyssa, I just used that question today too with someone that I've barely shared Plexus with. Like, I shared with her when I first started out, and then really not much over this past year. And I messaged her out of nowhere today, and I said, hey, did you know that you have 900 Facebook friends? I said, do you know what that tells me about you? I said, you love people. I said, so tell me, what is standing in between you and doing Plexus, because you would be amazing at this? And that's how I messaged her. That was my approach. It was basically like, you have a lot of friends, you love people, so like, let's talk about this, because you need to be doing this and you're not, so what's in your way? Basically, I'm trying to find out what are those obstacles, you know, she needs to get over before she would want to jump. And she said, she was like, I know I need the products, but she had a bunch of other mindset stuff that I'm like, okay, now I know how to follow up with her, you know, and where to go from here. So it is a good question. Kind of what's standing in between you and jumping on board? Like, cause let's do this already. Yeah. Any other questions? And then we'll wrap it up. Last question. One more question. Who's got it? Alrighty, guys. Well, then we will wrap it up. Thank you so much, Ashley and Lee and Alyssa, for sharing. I have no doubt that the people on the call tonight and the people that are going to watch the playback are going to be so encouraged. You guys are such a great example of how to start strong with the business, with your mindset and with your activity and your approach. And so I'm just super thankful for y'all sharing tonight. And yeah, have a good night, ladies. Thanks so much. Talk to y'all soon.